my name is Ebelechukwu, and I'm the owner and founder of Elcornel Business Enterprises. So we have a subsidiary known as Elcornel Farms, and we are into greenhouse farming. Basically, Elcornel Farms is a startup in Jos Plateau State, and we are an eco-conscious startup rather in Jos Plateau State. And we are here, and basically we are focused on bridging the hunger gap, as well as using sustainable techniques that protect the environment.
Beautiful. Hi, Ebby. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. I'm great.
Okay, so
nice to finally talk with you, Jodi.
I know. I'm so happy about this. I'm so happy about this. All right, so I have to ask the question. Yeah. Do you have a little person in your life?
Pardon?
Do you have a little person, like a son, a daughter, a child?
Yeah. Yes. I have a daughter.
I asked that if you're looking at the door.
She'll be 6 in April.
Well, if you look at the door, I think someone's watching us. So
yeah, she might just bust in at any minute. She doesn't care. Mommy's in a meeting. She doesn't care. She's just going to bust in and be like, I want this. I want to do that. Can you do this? Can you come and do this for me? So that's what I've been looking at. Do I want her sternly? I have a meeting. I don't want it to be here, but I know she was so busting probably.
Yeah, it was so funny because I saw the door moving, and then I was listening to you, and I'm like, I go, there's someone watching us. I think this is. So I was laughing. All right.
Yeah.
So Ebby, thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate this. Ebby and I tried earlier this weekend. We didn't work out because technical problems. So now I'm very excited to have her here right now. Ebby, yeah. I always tell people that in order to understand a business, you need to understand the people behind the business first. People just always assume that the business is the person, but they don't understand that there's a person well beyond the business. And so tell us the story of one, where are you? And two, talk to me about your childhood up to the point when you went to university.
Okay. All right. That's an interesting story. So we are in Jos Plateau State in Nigeria. And I've lived here all my life. But I had like a 13 years, in between because of work. I had to work in other states. So I would go come back and all that. But like I said, I was born here. Mm-hmm. I attended primary, secondary, and the university here in Jos Plateau State. I graduated from the University of Jos. I studied geography and planning in the University of Jos, graduated in 2007. And I didn't start working till like 2010. So I was able to build a career over a 13 years period in sales. And I worked with companies like British American Tobacco, Guinness Nigeria, and then Japan Tobacco in international as well. So I guess I'm here now with Elcornel Farms because
no. We're not talking about work yet. We're not talking about work yet. No, we're talking about you.
Okay, so all right.
So I know, isn't it weird? It's weird when someone's like, I just want to talk about you. so
just me.
Just you. Isn't that awesome?
It's all about me. Yeah, it's all about me. I just want to tell you my passion, as in like what I really love doing, and and all that.
Well, all right. So do you have, growing up, do you have siblings?
Yeah. I have 3 others. I'm the third child. I have an elder sister and brother, and then a younger brother as well. We are all here except for my younger brother.
So how many of you in total?
We're 4.
There's 4. Okay. What do you?
Yeah, just 4 of us.
Just tell me one more time. What is your degree? When you went to university, what did you study?
Geography and planning. Planning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now walk me through your growing up. Were you the child that followed the rules, or were you the child that did whatever she wanted and she was very, look at your
now that you ask of that, I am not. I'm not. I'm the middle child, and that's what they say about middle kids being very independent. Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to have my way, though I grew up with really stern mom, really stern dad, and he didn't always want me to have my way, but I just love having my way. I always, love doing things differently right from when I was a kid. It was crazy growing up because, I had this idea about how I wanted to be, how I wanted my life to be shaped. And my parents had a different idea of how my life should be shaped and how I should behave. So there was a clash, but somehow, when I got older, we kind of like balanced it out, and I was allowed to have my way and do the things I love to do. Yeah.
Did your brothers and sisters did they accept the way that you were in regards of like wanting your way all the time, or were they finding ways to work with you better?
I think both. They allowed me, have my way sometimes, and then in other times they would, just find like a compromise, that zone of possible agreement where we could, easily done together as a team. So, and that's what's helping us right now, even as, yeah.
Nice. Well, I always sit there and say that siblings that are close are because they had they took up all the energy of their disagreements when they were younger. And when they're older, they're like, okay, we've already done this. We can't do it again. So they found a way. It's like the childhood to adulthood. You're working to the point where like now we know how to communicate the right way.
So true, so true. And I'm really close with my siblings. We practically go almost everywhere together. So we're going to the kids' school. We are going there together. So it's really fun growing up with them.
Oh, I love that. Fun. I love hearing. I love hearing stories of siblings getting along. I mean, I just like any sibling situation where they're working together, they're getting along, and it makes me so happy. So I love that. When you decide to go to university, why graphics and why planning? And planning, what's the definition of planning? Because is it operations? Is it planning, designing planning? Like, explain to me what planning is.
Oh, okay, it's actually geography, not graphics. Sorry, you got that wrong. It's geography. So it's geography and planning. Basically, we study everything geography, the human, the physical, everything geography, and then we add it with urban and regional planning. So I guess they didn't want to call it geography, urban, and regional planning. So they just called it geography and planning. So I didn't plan to be there initially, but life happened and I found myself studying geography.
Well, life happens. Well, what happened? What happened to the point where you what did you want to do? What did you want to do versus now that you're doing this?
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay.
Nigerian network service providers, they can be crazy sometimes. So
technology is great when it works.
Yes, so true. Yeah. So true.
Okay, so what happened between the time that you decided to go to university and what you want to do versus the degree that you have?
Sorry, can you come again? Can you ask that question again?
So what was that thing that happened? Like you said, life happens. So what What was
Okay.
it that life happened that you didn't go for the what career you wanted?
Okay, yeah. So there's this 1 year program in the university here in Jos. So it's called remedials. So it allows you, if you fail any subject in your WAEC, it allows you to come in for that 1 year period and kind of like remedy any shortfall you're having. Then you can now have an opportunity to be in the university. So I didn't get JAM, went through REMS, and I didn't get the opportunity to study medicine. So it was either job planning or I get kicked out. So I just chose to stay and then study job planning. And first year, second year, I kind of like started enjoying it. And I was like, you know what, there's no point going back to medicine. Let me just do this. So that's how I ended up studying job planning.
It's funny that you even mentioned it. So I talk to so many people around the world, and when you're not in the United States, 3 jobs are requirements: doctor, medicine, law, engineer are like the technology. Technology is now one of the 4. So when you're overseas, and so being first generation, my family's from Haiti. It is so funny because everyone's like, "You're not a doctor." I'm like, "No." "You're not an engineer." I'm like, "No." They're like, "Well, you're not a lawyer." I go, you talk so smart." I'm like, "No, I'm not any of those things. I'm marketing." And I do remember my parents at the beginning, they saw my personality and they're like, "It's not that she's not smart, but she's not going to do any of those 3 things." Because like I was just like, I was like so high energy. And so it's very interesting. I would like to know how, I mean, is there any one of your siblings that are one of those 4 jobs? And what did your parents think when you decided, school decided for you?
None of my siblings studied any of the 4 top, jobs in a typical Black family or African family, so to say.
Yeah.
And my parents they insisted. They were like, you know what, go start geography and planning. Then after a year, you write JAM again, and then we'll make sure you get medicine. Yeah. And after 1 year, I was like, no, this thing is not for me. It's not for me. Let me just stay put where I am. It was a struggle, like I told you, I was always different. I wanted to do things differently always. And and sometime around that period, I lost my dad. So my mom just gave up the fight. She was like, you know what, just do what you want. I don't care. As long as you are coming to this house with a certificate, just go and do what you like. That was just how, I got my way there. Yeah.
I love it. I do love how I always say, like, we as an adults, if we do a good job at raising parents, we could do a lot of things in this world. So number one job, once you get to a certain age, it's our jobs to raise good parents. And then they follow, and they don't care what you do as long as you're bringing pride to the house.
Yeah. So true.
So what was it about? All right, so yes, if you didn't do well, you would have had to leave university. But what was it about planning that made it so interesting for you?
When I said because the first 2 years it's focused more on geography. So I think I totally fell in love with the course when we went in our first semester. We had a field trip where we had to go see rock formation. And I was like, man, I didn't know I love being outdoors. I love doing this shit. And then that was what captivated me. Looking at those rocks, the way they were formed, when you look at the grains and all that, I was like, man, nature is beautiful. And that was what caught me. And that was when I now decided, you know what, I'm an outdoor girl. I don't think anything should keep me in an office. So yeah, that was it.
That I always sit there and say that if you're having a bad day, go outside. If you're having a good day, go outside. Being outdoors I don't know what it is. I mean, I live by the ocean. And so for me, even if I don't go outdoors, I just have to look out the window and I'm like I go, the day is so much better.
Man, you're living my dream right now. I've always wanted to live by the water.
being from the Caribbean, I can't live without. I mean, like, I've never lived not near the water. I mean, like, literally, I'm not. I mean, Haiti is very dangerous right now for a lot of people. It's not very safe. but I wish, I mean, like when I just hope to go back there in the future. Hopefully it settles down. But being by the ocean for me just reminds me that I'm in the United States. I'm not on an island, but it's so nice to just imagine and just pretend and just see the ocean there, which makes me so happy. Just it's a game changer. It's a game changer.
Like you're home.
Like I'm home. Exactly like I'm home.
Yeah.
When you were saying about the rocks, I love being in the woods and I don't like seeing a dead tree, but I enjoy seeing a tree that's cut and seeing all the rings and to count how old the tree is. What was it? You're seeing the rocks and like, what are the things about the rocks that make us aware of how long this rock has been around or how long the area that you've been with has been around?
I think one of the things that the rocks that actually captivated me were the volcanic rocks, because so many thousands of years ago there was a volcanic eruption somewhere on the plateau. So it's the place is called Kerang. So after all these years, they still have a lot of volcanic stones around that area. So some of these stones, after a long period of time and, due to certain activities like human activities, environmental activities, and so on and so forth, some of them metamorphosize and, they become a different kind of rock. But even when they change, they still maintain their grain formation. So you can tell this is a metamorphic rock, but it came from this type of, whether it came from a volcanic eruption or it came from dead animals that have been buried for so many years. You can always tell from the grains and all that. So looking at this was so amazing. I was like, how are these things so formed? Like every grain was in place. It was, Jodi, I don't know how to describe it, but that just captivated me. And I was like, wow. I was able to learn a lot of things. I learned more about the plateau. I learned about why it's so cold. I learned about elevation and all that, and so on and so forth. And I was like, man, geography is a thing. It's people don't regard it as a very serious professional course, but I love it. It's great. It's great looking at those stones. Honestly, it is.
When you are watching on the news or of an earthquake, or if you're watching the news of something that's happening underneath the tectonic plates anywhere around the world, are you just glued and fascinated to the TV just because of what's happening? Do you just wish you were there?
Yeah. Sometimes I've always imagined if I would ever experience an earthquake just to feel how it shakes. I know it's a dangerous thing. But I've always imagined it. Honestly, I feel so sad for the lives that have been lost in such dangerous earthquakes. But even those that I also get fascinated by, I learned that there are some people that chase after hurricanes when they happen in different parts of the world. And I'm like, man, that's dangerous shit, but I want to experience it. I want to feel it, like you're very close to the action, that kind of thing. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm always glued. I actually love everything nature. I'm always glued to a nature channel.
Well, I was gonna say they're called the tornado chasers. And I'm with you where the tornadoes in my mind are, because we don't, I mean, it's very rare. I mean, we've had them here in Massachusetts, but it's very, 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 very rare when it happens. And they pop in and they pop out. Yeah. But the damage that they do within seconds is fascinating. But I could not live in a place where all the time, like it's like tornado season. And like, I could not live in a place where I'm always waiting for like, is this my time? Is this my time? So I'm fascinated, but I don't need to see it every single day. But it is funny because I'm with you so I do photography a lot. Photography is like my relaxation time. This is what I do. Just I go out, I take pictures, and I'm always looking at how nature changes and how, whether it's the weather, I mean, whatever it is, I mean, I'm always just so intrigued at how not only does it grows, it's fine, nature destroys it, and then it grows. And so through volcanoes, through fires, it is fascinating how the earth will constantly replenish itself on its own. It doesn't need us. It will just do it on its own,
exactly.
which is amazing. That's why nature for me is just like you're drawn to it, because no matter how much damage we do, we will not survive, but it will survive.
Yeah, exactly. It's so true. So true. Nature really has a way of replenishing itself, you know.
I always say that in the past, I would always say nature is like the human body. They both fascinate me, because the human body does so many things. I mean, it's just like shocking, but nature nature beats us. I mean, nature just doesn't need doctors, doesn't need anything else, doesn't need medicine. Nature is just amazing. Once you were in this course, and once you decided to get once you got your degree, what was the job that you got afterwards? What was the thought process of where you wanted to go now that you have this degree from the university?
Okay. After in my final year, I decided not to use my certificate to work in my final year. I just wanted to go into business. I also wanted to start a business. I'm Igbo, and we are like the business blood of Nigeria, so to say. You know, because it's like when people see red in their veins. As an Igbo girl, as an Igbo person, we see business and money flowing in our veins. Not really blood, it's blood, but you know, that blood can be, you know, I don't know if you get my the way I'm trying to describe it. I hope you get it. So I've always wanted to be in business. So I went to the bank to get a loan, and the lady was like, hey, look, go and work for some years and come back, then we'll listen to you. So that's how I was like, really? So I was in my mom's shop for some years, and one lady came up to me and she was like, wow, you're really good with people. I think you do well in sales. Why not go try a career in sales? And that was it for me, and that's how I started working in sales. That was just it. Yeah.
So you said you're an Igbo girl. What is that? Like, what does that mean? You're an Igbo. What is that? What?
It's Igbo is a tribe in Nigeria. So in Nigeria we are plenty. There are different tribes. We have Igbo, we have Hausas, we have Yorubas, we have like in Playa, we have the Angas, we have the Rom, all having different languages. Everybody has his own language, you understand? So, but three major languages that are recognized in Nigeria are the Igbos, the Hausas, and the Yorubas. But we have other ones. We have the Gwaris, we have the Fulanis, we have the Pachamawas, we have the TV, we have the Idomas. But and then the Igbos are found in the southern part of Nigeria. You find us in places like Anambra State, Ebonyi State, Enugu State, Imo State, Abia. But that's where we originated from. But you find us all over Nigeria. According to a friend of mine, that if you go to a village and you don't find an Igbo man there, it better make you run, make your leg they touch the back of your head. So as in, like, if an Igbo man is not in any village, that village is not with the chop person. So as in, like, it's not habitable at all. It's not safe to live there, because Igbos are known to be able to go to a new place and just start a business there, and it will thrive. So that's why the business bloodline of Nigeria. We're really good with commerce. Very, very good with commerce.
I like that education. So see, every time I have a conversation with someone, anyone around the world, I'm learning something that I would have never known. So this is good. So wait. So if I spoke to a Nigerian and I asked them if they were Igbo and they said they're not, should I just assume that they're not going to be good at business? No. Okay.
Everybody, you know, like there are always that exceptions, but Igbos is like we are known for it. It's very rare. It's like probably 2 out of 10 that you find are not interested in business in Igbo land. So it's just a general assumption that if you're Igbo, you're good in business, but it's not true. There are those that don't want to run a business. They just want to be in an office, go for a regular work, earn salary, and then, you know, go back home. But there are very few. There are not so much, you know, in Igbo land. Yeah.
That's so interesting. I love that. That's so interesting. Oh my God. Well, it's like Israel. In Israel, when you get out of the military, everyone starts a business. I mean, it's just like Israelis are known. That's why it's called Startup Nation, because everyone goes in. So if someone says in Israel, I don't want to do business, everyone's like, well, I don't understand. Like they're so confused. They're so confused.
Yeah.
Everyone starts a business.
Yeah, exactly. That's what everybody assumes happens in Igbo land, in the southeastern part of Nigeria. So you also have some Igbos, I forgot, you also have some Igbos in Delta State and River State as well here in Nigeria. So everyone just assumes that if you're not doing business, are you even an Igbo girl? Are you even an Igbo man? You get that kind of thing. But I think it's just a stereotype, kind of thing, like a kind of like bias or let me just say a stereotype, Sha. Once they just see you are Igbo, they just be like, this one, she like money too much, so you should be into business. Why if you're an Igbo girl, why you not doing business? No, you can't be an Igbo girl. You can't be an Igbo girl. But when you go to other tribes, like here in Plateau State, I met a Birom man. The guy is so good in business. In fact, he's better than a lot of Igbo people. But one thing that they've seen us as the commerce people is because in Igbo land, we have this thing where someone starts a business, he sets up a business, he becomes very good at it, he begins to make profit, he's growing, then he goes back to the village, he picks like 5 other young boys, then they come back to the town with him and they begin to work for him.
Yeah.
Then after a certain number of years, somewhere between 5 to 10 years, he'll now take a portion of his profit and give the boy. Then he goes and sets himself up. So nice. I guess that is why everybody just assume that if you're Igbo, Abba, if you're not doing business, you're not Igbo at all. So I guess that's where the assumption comes from. Yeah.
I love that. Okay. So I was the best lesson because I was like, this is amazing. So thank you for sharing it. That's awesome. When did you decide to start the business? So what happened that it was time to start the business?
I've always wanted, and initially when I was working, I wanted to start a garden, but sales life, because I was always traveling back and forth, I didn't have that kind of time. So when I lost my job in October 2020, I came back home and my brother was managing a poultry farm. And after like a month or so, he was like, babe, you can't just keep sitting around doing nothing. If you made up your mind you don't want to work again, I think it's time for you to come and join me in this poultry farm business. And that was how I bettered the idea of Elcornel Farms and Elcornel Business Enterprise. So that was where we started from. And it's still me and my brother today.
So you've lost your energy and your passion. So like you went from high energy and then you're like, you're talking about the business. So do you not? I go, where's my energy? What happened?
So, well, I have to be honest, thinking about losing my job, it's a really sad, it's a sad event for me. So I guess that was what kind of like weighed me down. And
well, all right, well,
it's a sad story I don't like thinking about, yeah.
Well, let's just pause about that for a second. Before we go into the company and what the company does, let's talk about how was it? So you just said it was what month in 2020?
In October 2020 was my job, and I started somewhere around November, late November, somewhere around there.
So March 2020, let's talk about March 2020. The pandemic starts. Everywhere around the world starts shutting down. How was it for you prior to losing your job in October or November? Like, how was it for you at work? How was it for you at home?
It was difficult at work because the state where I lived in at the time, they shut down entirely. So nobody was allowed to go out. We're always indoors. So I started working differently. I started working from home. It was very difficult for me to adapt because I'm a field girl. I'm used to going out, talking to people. Then all of a sudden, I'm tied up in the house and I'm on the phone asking customer, good morning, how are you? You know, how many cartons do you want to buy today? That kind of thing. It was really difficult for me, and doing that was really hard. But I guess that was enough time for me to decide, or rather, that was when the idea of, you know, starting something apart from the job actually started building, you know, became stronger. That urge became stronger, you know, but I was like, pandemic, we're in the house. How can I go out? This thing has to do with farm work and all that. So at a point, they don't even allow farmers to step out of the house, except on days that we're allowed to go to the market.
Yep.
So it was just basically difficult adjusting. And even when eventually I started my business, the pandemic didn't even allow me to be able to start fully well, because when we go to the market to ask for something, we'll be like, we need to buy this sheet. They'll be like, no, we don't have it. We can't import it, you know, because of the pandemic. So that was all part of the kind of life I had to learn to adjust and all that. I hope I answered this question.
No, you did, but it was just, it's interesting because I think that you just brought something up to my attention that most people talk about, and it's very few people that I've spoken to that can sit there and say how they had a job, they loved their job, and then they lost their job during the pandemic. And people don't talk about how it does hurt. I mean, it hurts when you lose something that you really love. Even as an entrepreneur, even as a business owner, there's like, because I'm the same person. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. I've always been an entrepreneur, but I'm a business owner by necessity, not by desire. And so when I started my company 13 years ago, it was 2009 when the world, the financial, the real estate economy, it was the Great Recession. It was the Great Recession of 2008, 2009. And no one would hire me because I was overqualified. I had too many degrees. I had too much experience. And I'm like, what do you mean? I did everything right. And I'm being told I'm overqualified. And so when I started my business, I was miserable. I mean, I didn't want it. I didn't want to do it at all. So I understand when your energy went from here to, all right, I'll talk about the business.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
All right. So do you still stay in touch with the people you used to work with?
Yeah, some of them. Very few. Some of them, yeah, I still do.
Is it the situation getting better where more things are open? Are things closed or open in Nigeria near you?
Things are opening up. The government, in fact, I think the government has just figured out that the best thing was just to open up and allow people to be able to do their thing. But because we are a consuming nation, we don't really manufacture much here in Nigeria, so everything is mostly imported, except for the human beings. In fact, very soon probably we'll start importing the human beings. so basically we have to wait for everything to be imported. So that is still difficult. Like I was supposed to start a second project. But the guy that is managing the project was like, you know what, they don't have the materials we need, so we have to get before that stuff can be imported. So the economy is open, but the procedures for importing is still very difficult. So it's still holding a lot of businesses back. In fact, things are very expensive now because those that had some items before this whole new process came, they are now hoarding it and selling it as an exorbitant price.
Yeah.
So if you want a very fair price, you have to wait for the new people importing to be able to sell. And that's a very long time to wait. That's a long time to wait.
Yeah, as we're watching all these ships all over the world just sitting and waiting to get the materials off the boat, it is frustrating. And especially when you're a business owner and you have to have materials, it makes it that much more difficult. For me, my materials are what comes out of my mouth. I mean, look, my team and I, like, our talents are, as long as we have a computer and as long as we can talk, we can do our work. But I watch so many of my clients that have brick and mortar. They have to have things. They have like a tangible thing, and they're waiting. And yet you're looking at the prices. And I mean, I understand why the prices are so high, but at the same time, I'm like, it's just like, I mean, it's just hard. It's hard for everyone, the end user, and it's hard for everyone. All right, so now let's get to the business. What does it do? Who is your best customer? And what do you love and what do you dislove about working there? So what is it? What does it do? Who are your best customers? And what do you love? And things that you don't like.
Yeah. So like I said earlier on, Elcornel Farms is into greenhouse farming. And basically we grow plants in a protected area. So it could be made from a poly material kind of. It could be made with glass, but the idea is that it's a protected environment where you grow your plants all year round. Mm-hmm. So we don't wait for the seasons to come and go. All year round, we have our products available. So we believe that greenhouse farming is the new way or a new technique to protect the environment and as well as bridge the hunger gap, because we are producing food all year round. So that's what we do. Mm-hmm. Then my best customer, I have two best customers, my favorite customers. So that has to be Malam Usman and Mr. Emmanuel of Ozero Cafe. So these are guys that each time I have a product and I'm like, you know what, I have this, and they're like, bring. Even if they have it stocked, available in their outlets, they're like, bring it for me, just bring, and they're always buying. So these are my two favorite customers, Malam Usman and then Mr. Emmanuel of Ozero Cafe. Then there's another question. I think I missed that one.
What are the highs and what are the lows of doing this business? So what's the best part about doing this business and what's the worst part about doing this business?
Okay, the highs are I get to work outdoors. I've always loved being outdoors. So I get to work outdoors. You know, you're looking at the plants, you're talking to them. Some of my family members are like, why are you talking about, I get to talk to the plants and the animals, and and I guess my family has been really supportive. They're not really plant or animal people, but if this is what she wants to do, then let's back her up and all that. So just being with them, being around them, as in like today I woke up by 5 a.m. I started feeding the puppies, cleaning up, doing this, doing that, and before you know what's happening, it's already 11 a.m. So I've practically been outdoors for 6 hours and I didn't even know. It was when I just remember, I was like, interview with Jodi. I was like, and I started rushing and getting things done. So those are the highs about it. Then the lows, oh God, the death of any plant or animal on the farm. It's the saddest period of my life. I don't like losing them. I don't. Each time I lose a plant or an animal, I'm so sad. Like almost throughout the whole day, because I'm like, what did I do wrong? Did I not take care of it properly? Did I feed it wrong? Did I do this? And all those kind of things. But I've now realized it's a learning experience. Mm-hmm. So you go back to your records and you check what you're supposed to do, mm-hmm. or what you can do better, and then you pick up from there. So yeah.
So you said the plant and the animals. So let's start there. So I want to get clarification. Do you build the greenhouse as well as take care of the plants that are inside?
Yes. Oh, no, sorry. I have a consultant that builds a greenhouse for me. Mm-hmm. Then I grow the plants and, take care of them. Yeah.
And how big can these, how big so the clients that you have, how big do they want it? Do they just want a nice little garden in their homes, or is this like a big project that you're working on?
Well, my clients are because I grow. Like I said, I don't build. I have a consultant that does that. Mm-hmm. So my own job is just to grow, mm-hmm. take care of the plants. They get to maturity, harvest, and then you sell. But I have people that ask me questions about how they can do the same thing I'm doing and then I connect them with my consultant. So the clients I have now that I mentioned earlier on, they buy my bell peppers from me.
Okay.
Then anytime we have any, animal, for those that love meat, they also come and then, they buy. Yeah.
And what animals do you keep?
We have rabbits, we have chickens, and then I also breed dogs. I have 3 different breeds of dogs. I have a Saint Bernard, I have Caucasians, and then I have the Lhasa Apso. So for those that love pets like me.
Well, I was going to say, so you love the pets, but just for clarification, you combine the chickens and the rabbits with the dogs. So what are you giving away to the clients? Not the dogs. The dogs are yours.
No, the dogs are. No, I breed the dogs.
Oh, you breed the dogs.
Normal. Yes. So for those that love to have pets in their home, because we have our own pets in the house, Lhasa Apso dogs. So in case you love dogs like I do, you could come to my farm, and if I have a puppy, you could, decide to adopt one and all that. So I just breed dogs. Yeah.
So
and they're really cute. I have a new set of puppies right now.
Wait, how many puppies?
6 puppies now.
You have to send me pictures. You have to send me pictures because I'm going to put that.
I will.
I cannot wait. I will. So you raise plants, you raise animals, and you raise as well as you raise. I love it. This is a mother. I'm doing my interviews. I'm like, go. I love you. Are a perfect mother right there. Like without even missing a beat.
Oh, thank you, Dodi. I love the compliment. Thank you. When you press my ego down a bit.
Because some people would panic and they're like, I go, I'm gonna call. You're like, I go, still talking, da. Bravo. Okay, so you're breathing.
Thank you.
You're still able to be outdoors. You're breeding dogs. I go, you have the chickens, you have the plants, you have the business of like working with people to build the greenhouses, you have the clients. When do you sleep?
Yeah. Man, sometimes I wish I had 48 hours, I won't lie. But I do sleep. Funny enough, I get up to 6 hours of sleep every day. Funny enough, because my house, they are early, they go to bed very, very early, like 9 p.m. I'll be the only one walking up and down the whole house. But I do sleep. I get up to 6 hours of sleep most times. I just have to find a way to plan myself. What should I be doing at this time, and all that. So plan myself. At most by 12 midnight, I'm done. I shut everybody down, and then I come inside and I go to bed.
People say the same thing about me. I get up at 4:30, and between 4:30 and 11, I do so much. And at 11 o'clock, and I go, all right, my day, mentally my day is done. Unless I have meetings, 11 o'clock, I'm done. And everyone's like, 11 a.m. I'm like, but I get up at 4:30. You get up at 7. It's a big difference.
Yeah. And it's true. Someone said that in one of your interviews where she was like, are you an early morning person? I can't remember which of the interviews I heard someone, say that. I think I remember.
Well, I love the early morning.
Interviews, yeah.
I love the early morning because my international clients are just going to work. My American clients are still asleep.
Yeah.
So I have a window of opportunity where the world is quiet and I could do so many things.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. And I've always been a morning person.
Yeah. So good. But like me, I also love it because by the time it's 12 noon here in Nigeria, the sun is out and this sun is hot. So it'd be good for you to be indoors by that time. So that's why I actually love waking up as early as I can and then, get things done. But most times I work with my brother. So most of the early morning runs, he still gets some of them done before I'm even up and all that. So, yeah.
When, how many children do you have?
I have a daughter, but my brother has 2 kids. So close-knit family. I just call them my kids.
So you have one child, and she's a daughter, which is phenomenal. What does she think of mommy always working?
And she doesn't like it. She doesn't like it. Sometimes when I have to go out, she'll be like, "Mommy, are you going out again?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I have to go out to make money to buy the things you cannot afford. So I'm the one that can afford it. So I have to go and make the money. So I'm sorry, I have to go out." And she'll be like, "Okay, no problem. But come back early, you hear?" I'll be like, "Okay, fine, yeah. I'll try and come back early."
How old is she?
She'll be 6 in April.
So she's still young. She's still young
April.
to understand that you're working, but she doesn't understand what you're doing per se. Like, or does she help you?
Yeah, but it all ends up in a disaster. Like I don't allow her go near the greenhouse because that is my major focus. That is the main thing I want to do. Mm-hmm. So the animals are just by the side, just because I love animals and I want to have them around me. So that's there. So, but the greenhouse is the major focus of the business. I don't allow her to go there because she might probably end up, kids, they be curious. She'll be like, "What if I tear this thing? What will happen?" Yeah. So I avoid that. But I allow her, help me out with the rabbits. She goes around, she pets them, she comes to the poultry house and all that. So, but 9 out of 10 times it ends up in a disaster. Well, what will I do? It's like of a mom.
That is high. 9 out of 10. That's high.
9 out of 10 times. Seriously, she's a really curious girl. She wants to know everything. She wants to know, why is the chicken like this? Why is this one like this? Why is the rabbit white and brown and black? Let me touch the body and see how it is. So, all those things. So yeah, so 9 out of 10 times end up in a disaster.
Oh, so cute. You are in, so during the pandemic, as you could see all over the world, and especially it's a big problem in the continent of Africa about food shortage. Yeah. And so, and you're in food, I mean, look, you are in the food industry. You're dealing with, like, how do we build more ways to have food throughout the entire year versus just one season. Where do you believe, in your opinion, where do you believe the food industry will go in the next couple of years in Africa?
In my opinion, from my research, I think we do less of mechanized farming and more of greenhouse farming, because a lot of countries have already adopted the greenhouse farming across Africa, not just in Nigeria, like in Kenya, Uganda, South Africa, I think in Zimbabwe, parts of North Africa, several parts of North Africa, and other, based on my research. So I think agriculture is going to be the next cash cow. I don't know if I can use that.
Yep, word, absolutely.
But it's going to be the next gold mine. Okay, I'm not a gold mine. It'll be the next diamond mine in Africa, because with food shortage and adoption of new technologies, new techniques, that's sustainable. I think let me say 20 to 30 years from now, probably greenhouse be like a regular thing. It's be like backyard farming, like owning a garden. I think that's where it's going to be very soon. For now, it's not common because of the costs of constructing the greenhouse. But with time, I think the materials will come, because they already have the local greenhouse some people use. They don't use the materials, like the imported materials. They have material that they source locally and all that. So even if they can't get this other greenhouse, the local one will become common, and that is what a lot of farmers will begin to use to have food all year round. Considering that we already have our Fadama farmers, and those ones are like the irrigation farmers. They grow in the dry season when there is no, so they use irrigation method to grow this food. But they still have the issue of pests and diseases, and that is where the greenhouse is better than the regular open field farming. So for me, I think 20 years from now, hopefully, when things become affordable and easy to get and source, I think greenhouse is going to be everywhere. It's going to be the answer to food shortage here in Africa.
What are the, I'm bubbling my words. What is the cost right now for the greenhouse? And are there options of small, medium, large? Obviously there's options, but is an option right now for a small farmer to actually get a greenhouse going, or is it not even accessible at this moment?
I think it's an option, but like I said, it's not accessible easily because of the costs. A lot of people want to do it, but when you think of the cost of constructing a greenhouse, even the local ones are not cheap. Like the one I have now, it cost me almost roughly around $3,000, somewhere around there.
Yep.
Probably somewhere around $3,000 to $4,000. Then not now.
Yeah.
Now it's a bit more expensive. So, and this is the I could get that costs that much. So imagine someone having 8x24 or 8x36, that will cost more. You'll be looking at probably $7,000 to $8,000. And how many farmers can actually afford amounts of money? So it's an option, but it's not readily accessible. And even the local one that they do doesn't last as long as this one that I'm using right now. While this one can give me like a 5-year guarantee, one I think is every year you have to change the material you're using building it, and it's not really cost effective per se. So
you mentioned earlier that
you
mentioned earlier that the sun by noon the sun is so hot. And in Florida, for example, my mother is in Florida, and her car, you could see the heat of the sun deteriorate the cars faster in the southern states. So are you dealing with the same thing where the sun is destroying the materials, and that's why it only has a 5-year, it has a 5-year rate or longevity?
Yeah, it's actually the weather that, like this one that costs about $3,000 to $4,000. It can withstand a bit, it can take time before it gradually wears off. But that local one, if someone just hit it like this and wind blow, everything will just scatter, it just get destroyed. So yeah, the sun. So the wet, I think the house, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Your question.
No, I do have a question, but I want you to finish your thought.
Okay, all right. So like the sun is about, I think, like 35 degrees here in Plateau State. So I guess somewhere in Sokoto should be like 40 or 45. That's degrees centigrade. So you can imagine how hot it can get and how fast the materials will wear off.
So the follow-up question was, so for your clients, do you have the greenhouses on their properties and so you have to maintain theirs, or do you grow things in yours and then provide it to them? How does that work?
Okay, for I have now that work directly with me, I grow and then they come and buy from me. That's what I do. So anybody that wants to build, I just connect them with the consultant. He does their stuff for them and then they manage it by themselves. I don't get involved. My own is just to grow and sell out to people.
Smart, beautiful, very, very smart. I mean, that's one of the things where I wanted to get clarification. So like I go, they want chickens, you raise the babies, you give them the chicken, you raise the plants, then you give them the plants. And again, whatever happens after that, it's fine. But that's your number one business model is growing and then providing, but not, but you're not growing to the full growth. You're just like growing, or breeding, growing, things like that, and then providing it for the individuals that want to purchase from you, correct?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
If you had, I have 2 or 3 more questions. If you had to have the ideal customer, who's the ideal customer for you? Who are the customers that you want continuously to find you?
I will prefer to deal with with other businesses. When I was in sales, we used to refer to them as Horeca, and that's hotels, restaurants, and cafes. And in restaurants, it also includes bakeries that would need anything from my farm. So I would prefer to build businesses than direct consumers.
Yes.
It's very difficult dealing with direct consumers sometimes, because you speak plenty English and the next thing you will hear is I come. That's I'm coming. So it's better for me to just go to the business that provides for these other consumers, and I'll be like, I have this thing that you need, so you could come to my farm and then get it from me. So that's the best one for me. So hotels, restaurants, and cafes are the best I could deal with right now.
I love it. Perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it. Where do you want the company to go in the next year from now? Because you basically you're working with your brother. Was it your brother's company first, or you and your brother decided to do it together?
Well, it was his company first. So when I started talking about registering the company, he was like, you know what, go do it in your own name. So we are partners still. We share the profits, that kind of thing. We do the groundwork together, we share the profits, but the business is registered in my own name. So I'm like the face of the company. Yeah.
Wait, how does he feel about that?
I don't know. I've never really asked him, but I think he's comfortable because I talk with him before I make any decision. And he was like, if you want to register it, no problem, just go ahead and do it. So just do it in your, because I told him I wanted him to register it in his own name, but he was like, no, I think you should do it. Go ahead and do it. That instead he will register, that if he wants a company in his own name, he would register for himself. But I should go ahead and do what I want to do.
Is he an older brother or younger brother?
He's my elder brother.
Older?
My immediate elder brother. Yeah, older brother. Yeah.
So what of the four, what number are you?
3.
So okay, so he's like the two of you are in the middle.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay. Where do you want to see the company in a year from now?
In a year from now, I want Elcornel Farms to be the brand everybody thinks about when they think of bell peppers, rabbits, or poultry. So when anybody just want to think, where can I get rabbits? Elcornel. Where can I get bell peppers? Elcornel. Where can I get poultry? Elcornel. So I want to be that brand that everybody thinks about once they think about any of my products.
What is your plan in regards to how that will happen? You don't have to give me the secrets. You don't have to give me the secret sauce of how it's going to happen. But I can go,
Jodi, there are no secrets here. Trust me. Farming is an open thing. Honestly, there is no secret to keep. It's not like we're having one special family recipe that is handed from generation to generation. No, it's not like that. So basically, how we want to achieve that is through growth. So what we're doing is it's difficult for both of us because it's not who we are, but we're really keeping track of our finances and our profits, and from there we hope to expand. So like I told you earlier on, we already have a second project going on, a second greenhouse, going on. So for the greenhouse, so we hope to have a second greenhouse, and with the second greenhouse, we'll be able to have a total of, I think, about 700 square meters of farming space, I think, somewhere around there. Then sorry, not 700, sorry, 70 square meters. We had a talk. 70 square meters, not 700. So we have a total of 70 square meters of growing space. Then for we are looking at having batch productions. So every week, any customer that comes in, we always have something to buy. So it's not like we're growing after 6 weeks, we start all over again. No, we're looking at, we start growing, we shift them to a new room, start a fresh batch. So every week, any customer that comes to the farm gets something available for them. So so for that, what we've done with that is that we've decided to have roughly about 250 birds every week. So we have 250 birds on the farm every week. So if we bring in 250 birds, we would rear them for 2 weeks, and then we now move them to another room and bring in the birds. And that 2 weeks, we move them to another rooms. So every time a customer walks into the farm, they always have their product available. Then that way again, we are trying to do this is that we're going out to recce for outlets, and that are going out there to look for customers. So if you are under this HORECA, this classification, the HORECA classification, we'll walk into your outlet, introduce ourselves, and then, hopefully we'll get to start doing business with you. So the more you have, the more they demand, and then there's a need for, expansion and more goods. So that's what we're doing now.
I love that model I love that because of a couple of things. So as I mentioned, I live by the ocean. And so everything is very like fresh in regards of all the stores buy from local farms in where I live. So during July to October, I'm part of a farm share. And so there's 4 different towns, and we support 7 or 8 different farms. So it's all the cheese comes from the same farms, all the cheese, the eggs, the fruits, the vegetables come from all these different farms, which I love because every Tuesday I pick up a bag. I don't know what's in the bag. I don't know what. Every Tuesday we know we're getting food, and I get food. And what I like about it is we are creatures of habit. I will go to the supermarket and I will buy the same things over and over and over. I will eat the same things over and over again. When I go to restaurants, I eat different things, but when I'm eating at home, we eat the same thing. With the farm share, every Tuesday I get a bag and I don't know what it is. And so it makes me become more creative in regards of what I'm going to cook, because I have to look up certain things, because there's certain things that they grow, I'm like, I've never seen before. And now I have to Google it, see what it is, and then I can create something new. So when you're saying that you're making these things year round, it's such a great idea, because it opens up the restaurants to the opportunity to make different things, thus bringing more people coming in, because the chef will be creative. And so for you to partner with a restaurant or to partner with cafes is such a smart way of doing business. And if you're able to do this year round, it's a win-win for everyone. It's a win-win for you. It's a win-win for the businesses, and it's a win-win for the customers. So everybody wins, and it's natural, it's organic. You know where the food is coming from, because when I'm going to the supermarket, the big supermarkets, and I'm getting a tomato, and the tomato doesn't taste like a tomato. It tastes bland. There's no taste. Or you buy something and within 2 or 3 days it's rotten because you don't know where it came from. So it was picked probably 2 weeks ago, and now you have it, and it's you pay for something it's spoiled.
So true. And that is one of our strong focus, delivering fresh and organic food to these cafes. So, and that is why me and my brother came up with the concept of the batch production. So every week you get fresh produce. So even when we are taking to Malam Usman or Mr. Emmanuel at Zero Cafe, I'm harvesting and I'm calling him and I'm like, okay, we have 20 kg, we have 30 kg, we have this, and you're like, okay, bring it over. I think, so basically every time you come to Elcornel, it's fresh. So, but with batch production, we'll ensure that, it's always fresh. Because if we have to keep waiting, let's say 6 to 8 weeks before we can provide for our customers, number one, there's a possibility that it won't be fresh.
Right.
2, will always be out of stock.
Exactly.
So we are looking at covering that gap.
I love that. I love that you guys thought of that together. And I love the fact that you guys, that you're the business aspect. And well, what does your brother focus on? Because you're the business person, but what does your brother focus on the most?
Operation generally. I don't think this business would have been where it is today without my brother. He's the one in charge of everything. He ensures everything works properly. The poultry house is cleaned out well. The animals are fed properly. Even the greenhouse. So when I'm not around, maybe like I have to travel out of town for a meeting or an event, I'm not worried because my brother is here. He does everything even when I'm in the house. So talk more of when I'm not home. I don't have anything to be scared of. He's here. So it's just like my big brother, that big brother bear, so to say. So
but
that's a good thing about doing business with him.
What is your brother's name?
His name is Jude.
Jude? Yay, Jude!
Yeah.
We're going to give him a round of applause for the big brother. Yes. Yay! Ebby, it was so much fun talking to you.
Thank you, Jodi.
Oh my God, so much fun. All right, so I have this last question. This is the question I ask everyone as we end our conversations. And no matter how many times that we talk, because this is not going to be the last time, but no matter how many times we talk, I will always ask you the same way. So if you had a personal ask or a professional ask, what would be your personal ask of anyone that's listening, and what would be a professional ask of anyone that is listening?
Okay. I think key number one is I've been trying to find mentors in this industry. Like I said, greenhouse farming is not so common. Like within a 60-kilometer radius of where I live, I think there are just like 3 farms. No, 4 farms, including mine. Just 4 farms, including mine. No, within 100, there are 60 kilometers. No, 60 kilometers. Within a 40 to 60 kilometer radius, we're just like 4 of us. So it's not common. It's not common. So it's very difficult to find that mentor, and that's one person that will be able to share the tips, the hot tips, so to say, with me. Like you know that if you do this, you can get more, produce. If you feed your plants this, you could get this. If you do your compost like this, you could get more produce. You don't get that kind of thing. So basically, if I could find somewhere I could go for like hands-on, especially for the greenhouse, if I could go somewhere I could find hands-on training, man, I'll appreciate that like crazy, because I'm tired of relying on the agronomist that manages the farm. That's the greenhouse farm. Sometimes I don't get good seedlings from him. So I need to start doing this on my own, and without the technical know-how, on how to really do this on my own, I think I'm going to mess up, and I don't want that to happen. I'll get the farm, I'll do worse than what he has done. So, but I want to do better. So technical skills, like hands-on experience. It's when I was in sales, we used to call it job training. So you go in there and you get your hand dirty, that kind of thing. So that's what I will need. Then well, like every other business owner, we say we are growing, we are expanding, and if we first store, it's good for us. It is the important part of everything. So it's really good for us. It's really good for us. Then mentorship, hands-on knowledge or experience, so to say. And then funding, basically. I think that's what I will need so desperately on the farm right now.
So just to be clear, we're looking for funding, professionally funding, mentoring, but personally, we're looking for hands-on understanding how to like grow your skills in the in what you're doing. So that's good. We can sit there and try to work that out. We're gonna try to figure that out for you. Oh,
I would love that. I would love that.
I love it. Again, Ebby, thank you so very much. I mean, thank you very much for such a good conversation. You're so adorable. You're adorable. I like you.
Thank you, Jodi. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you for rescheduling and giving me an opportunity.
Oh,
Thank
absolutely.
You for your understanding. It's great. Honestly, I really appreciate the time. Thanks
so
much.
I really did enjoy this. And also, I check on you guys randomly. I may send you an email. Like I go, hey, Ebby, are you available to talk again? Because things are happening around the world all the time. And I'm very, very, very blessed that I'm able to speak to people anywhere around the world. Not only because of this, but because I mentor, because I engage. I mean, I'm super, super lucky that I have people all over the world that I can really talk to in the right now when something's going on. So thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jodi. It was really, thank you for your time too. And anytime, please, 3 months, 6 months from now, you can call me up and be like, Abby, what has changed? Can we talk about it? And I'll be like, yeah, Jodi, why not? We could talk about this.
I look forward to it. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. See you later. Have a wonderful weekend.
Bye. Yeah, same to you.
All right.
I wish you same. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.